Hi besties! So today we're going to talk about how to crop your printables to save sticker paper and ink. So the first thing that we are going to talk about is where to get Silhouette Studio software. The reason I want to discuss this is because you do not have to use you do not have to have a Silhouette machine in order to use the software to crop your printables. If you hand cut, you can still do this and it will still be the same thing. It's saving you sticker paper and ink. Depending on the type of sticker paper you use, it can get pretty expensive if you're printing my full kit. My full kit does come with a lot of extras because you can really use it like however you want. So I try to put everything in there that you could possibly need because it's a printable. So at silhouetteamerica.com, you're going to click on this little button here that says software, and then you will be able to download the current release. It is going to just download the free edition, and you'll still be able to follow along with everything that we're going to do today. I have the business edition, so I'm going to get this loaded, and then I can choose to downgrade or view as the free. And I'm going to show you guys how to do that if it's something that you want to do yourself. So you can view in, and then here are all the different ones. So I'm going to view in standard because I want you guys to only see what is available in the standard edition and not extra stuff that you can't do unless you have the business, if that makes sense. Okay, so looks like we are in the screen here. Let me just shrink this down just a little bit. Okay, so the first things that I find useful we're going to do is open this corner preference panel. And then I would definitely say that you need to at least have your DPI, your dots per inch, on the print resolution at least 600. You can bump it up if you want a higher quality to 1200. This is the print to PDF resolution, and this is helpful if you want to print to PDF for any reason. Then on the second page here, you're going to open that and change the panel mode to multi-panel mode because we want to be able to have a couple different panels open at the same time. Then I'm going to hit apply and OK. So now I can open a few panels at the same time. Okay? So we're going to open this first one. It's open the page setup panel, and then we're going to come here to open select by color. Then now we have to actually open some files. So let's go ahead and go to a weekly here. And we're going to use the last weekly that I created, or one of the last ones. And let's use the vertical drink tea one. So we're going to open up that file. So there are a couple different ways. You can double click on the file. It's going to open it and load it into Silhouette Studio for you from the folder. Another way you could do that is go to Open. Oops. And then navigate to the folder that you want. You can just hold down your mouse button, which is the left one, and select all of these and click OK. And it's going to load each one. This is how I prefer to do it because it's a little bit quicker. So it does take a little bit of time to get those all loaded though. And then we're going to have a couple more files to open. Like I said, this does take a little bit more time, but I don't know, it's easier than just clicking one at a time. So I'm going to close this untitled because we don't need it. I guess it's gonna not close. What is it, like everything can and will go wrong, right? Okay. So we're going to go back, and this one had 2 folders because it had some skin tones. So I'm just going to go ahead and click this one. And let's see what it looks like. Okay. And then the other ones, we had a dark and an olive as well. We'll go ahead and open those just so you guys can see them. I do try to put the skin tones all in one file, and then you guys can choose which one you want. So the full boxes, there's going to be 3 of them for this file. You have light skin color, you have your dark, and your olive. So you can choose any of those. And if you wanted a different hair color, then that's where you would have to go to this file, and we're going to crop it. So the first thing we need to do is delete the blue line. I say this a lot. A lot of people message me and they they just can't crop it. Crops it wrong, and I'll show you what it does. So if you keep the blue cut line and you go to your select all and you open the crop panel, which is right here, the modify window, and you hit crop, all it's done is crop the blue. So it just cropped around the blue line and not both the blue and red. And that's not what we want to do. So that's why I always say delete your blue line. Then you can go ahead and right click, select all, and then hit crop. And now you can see that it cropped out each individual one. So say we want the girl with the dark colored hair and light skin. We're going to hold down shift. So I'm going to click on this one, hold down my shift key, click on the second one that I want, right click and hit copy, and then I'm going to go back here to the full boxes and I'm going to go ahead and paste in front. So say that I want to print this exactly the way it is, but I want a different colored girl. So the easiest way to do this is to zoom in just a little bit. Click on this one right here, and she's right here, so we want to cover her up. So I'm going to hold down my shift key, and I'm going to kind of try and click the red box here. Then I can open up this transform panel, and I'm going to hit this align right and align top. And it just aligned it perfectly right there over the girl that has the blonde hair. So I'm going to do that here again. I'm going to hold down the shift key while I click on the red cut line. Then I'm going to go to align right, align top. And then you can go ahead and print this and cut it as is if you want. So that's how you can crop in the girls that you need. But say you want to go ahead and crop this whole page. That's all we're going to do is delete the blue line, right click, select all. Now if I select all and I go ahead and hit crop, those 2 girls disappeared. So what we're going to have to do is hold down your left mouse button. So you see how this creates a box? And we're going to drag it to the corner to select just what's on here. And then we're going to go ahead and hit crop. So we're going to do the crop to every single one of the pages. So let's go ahead and take care of that. So we'll go ahead and delete the blue, right click, select all, crop. Okay. Right click, select all, hit crop, delete the blue, always delete the blue. And this just takes a little bit of time to get all of that done. Delete blue. So I'm just selecting the color blue here to delete it. Select all, crop. So I'm going to select the blue, hit the delete key on my keyboard, right click, select all, and crop. Again, the crop button is on the modify panel. Now that everything is cropped, we can go ahead and hit on this plus sign here. I always like to start with a new page. Then I'm going to here to the page setup. I'm going to make sure that I have my cutting mat correct. I'm going to use my Cameo. If I had a portrait, then I would choose portrait. Media size, definitely letter. Unless you're using a different size paper, then you can go ahead and choose A4 or etc. Go ahead and click on that last panel, which is the registration marks. Click on. We are going to use registration marks in default. As you can see, they're already opened to like my favorite settings, so I'm going to hit restore defaults. So again, that was on, restore default. And that way you have no issues with the registration marks failing. Everything is in default settings. So let's go over a couple things here. Your red cut line is the cut line for the silhouette. It will not cut anything on the outside of the red. This gray line, that's your print margin for the specific printer. So if I go here to print, my default printer is going to be the one that the registration mark, or this gray line, is going to be at. Okay, so if your printer has different margins, this line might change. So I always recommend that you go ahead and make sure your printer is set as default so you can see those cut lines. And my printer just decided to start printing something. Anyway, so we have this. So now we are all at the default and we can start moving stuff in. So we can just start by looking at each page and then moving the stuff that we want. So I know that I like using the bow boxes, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm holding down the shift key and I'm literally just clicking on each of the boxes while I'm holding the shift key. So keep holding that shift key down. I'm going to hit right click the desktop, select cut. I'm going to go here to my untitled page and paste in front. You're going to want to make sure that everything is within the white and in between the reds. Okay, so I'm going to keep doing this. This page, I don't really use anything on it. These are your alternate pages. I like the bows. I know some of you are not bow fans. That's why we have the non-bow boxes and stuff. I don't really use any else from this, so I'm going to go ahead and just start pasting. Now I do like to use paste in front, but I'm going to move some stuff off to the side. I'm going to take what I need. So I want these, and I do use a few of these things here on those. So I'm going to go ahead and hit cut and paste, and then move these off to the side. So I'm basically trying to get everything I know I'm going to use over to one page for now, because then we're going to talk about like how you can arrange and align things. So I like the washi bow page. Now I'm going to go ahead and close some of these windows for right now. Okay, so I pretty much use the vast majority of this stuff here and these. I don't personally use date covers. I like to use like little heart date dots. And I'm going to move that off to the side, and then I can close that. I don't want to use the full, so I'm going to go ahead and close that word. And then I pretty much use a lot of this stuff, so I'm just going to go ahead and copy all of that over, and then I can get rid of what I don't need. Okay, I don't need this one, this, or this, because I already got the girl I want to use, and I can close this one. Now I know it's going to take me 2 pages, so I'm going to go ahead and get this registration mark on here too. So we have this girl, I don't want the blonde, and then I pretty much use a lot of this stuff, so I'm going to go ahead and hit cut, and I'm going to paste it here and move it out of the way, and then we can get started. So now that I have everything here, I'm going to just start lining stuff up and trying to fit everything on the page. And the way that you can do this is pretty simple. I mean, you can, if you need to rotate an object, just click on the object, go up here to object, mirror, and you can either flip it horizontally or vertical. We'll talk about that in a minute. But you can rotate by 90 degrees clockwise. This is a bigger sidebar, and I usually like that to face towards the planner. But say you really wanted to put this on like the weekend, you can click on this and you can get mirror horizontally and she'll turn the opposite direction. So if you wanted her to face the opposite way, you could. So I'm going to mirror her back because I wanted her to face out this way. I don't technically use my sidebars, so I like the big long one here to cover that up. This right here is a shorter like box. It's a box and a half approximately. And sometimes I like using this on the weekend or as a cover up. It just depends. I think she's super cute, but I probably won't use her this week, so I'm going to go ahead and delete it. And then I love all the full boxes. I don't necessarily use them all. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of look at these and see which ones I'm going to want to use. Like, I love Little Kitty and the Pupper, so I'm going to put those 2 on there. I usually use one of these little boxes that are like a 2 wide in conjunction with the weekend banner. Like I said, those are just like personal preferences, and that's why that I know this is probably something you don't necessarily see every shop have, but it is something I enjoy using. Another tip here is to go to the page setup panel and turn your transparency down all the way until you see nothing but gray. And this will just help you keep everything not touching. Because if I had this right here, when we go to cut it, it's going to mess it up. And this kind of helps you be able to see if everything, you know, isn't touching. So we're going to go ahead and just fill in areas with the boxes that we want to use. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I use this on the weekend. So that's enough boxes for me. I do really like that teddy though. I might stick that in there. We'll see. So I am going to just start filling in like I said. So if you want to make sure things are lined up a little bit, if you hand cut, you can just kind of select a few things and then use this transform panel to make sure that things are kind of in alignment. And that's really kind of your preference. If you just want to make sure that things are lined up nicely, that's how you can do that. So we're going to keep adding stuff in as we have room. Like I said, if you need to rotate things, you can select them and then hit your rotate clockwise. If you really want more of a certain object, you can just right click it, copy, right click, paste. If you used paste in front, it will literally paste it right in here, so you want to make sure that you just hit paste. This comes in handy with, like, if you like to color block. There are only 2, 4, 6, so if you color block, you need extra, so you can right click, do your copy and your paste, and you'll have 7 glitters, so you can do that. So I'm going to go ahead and, you know, kind of fit things in here, as I said, make them fit. So what I was talking about is, if you know exactly what you want to use, or, you know, what you don't use, you can really save a lot of, like, time only printing and cutting what you need. And then if you have issues with your machine, because, you know, unfortunately the Silhouette is, like, super picky, and sometimes if you move the registration marks, these guys, out any, like my kits come, they're bumped out as far as they can go. I've tested them. I know that they work as intended, but unfortunately sometimes they just don't want to. And there's some stuff that you can do to do, you know, kind of fix that kind of issue, and I'm gonna make a whole video about, like, tips and tricks on how to get things to print or register that just are giving you a hard time. So I like to rotate glitter and bow headers, but there are not enough bow headers to do so, and you need, like, at least 6. So I'm going to just right click on these and hit copy and then hit paste. And I'm not sure what colors I'm going to use just yet, so I think I'm going to do the green. So let's just start moving these in. Like I said, you want to make sure everything is on the mat area, not in the hash marks, and not touching each other. So those are your most important things. So let me fit that one there, and then I'll probably do the purple. On the other page, the pink. You can also hold down, like, while these are selected, you can hold down, press your control and your up arrow, and it will copy it above. So, and then we need the light green glitter. Let me go ahead and get rid of all of those. So we're running out of space in this area, but we have a little bit down here, and I think we can fit some more headers in. And then, like I said, you can rotate objects if you need to. And just fit more stuff in. And I think that this is going to be completely full now. I'm going to change the transparency back. Just personal preference. And then I'm going to go ahead and hold down my shift key, and I'm going to select everything that's left and hit cut. I'm going to put this over here on the second page. And then I will probably rearrange this off screen. So we have the page done, and the next step is to send it to the printer. If you are hand cutting, you can go to hide registration marks, and then you would be able to fit quite a bit more stuff around here if you're going to hand cut. So if you're hand cutting, you can print up to your print, which is the gray. Make sure that you can go ahead and turn the red off, show cut border, but make sure your show print border is on. So if you just print this, then you're good. So what we're going to do is make sure we turn back the registration marks on, because we have a silhouette and we want to cut it with that. And then we're going to hit here to the send. And then it's going to default to simple, but nothing here is red. So what you're going to have to do is right click. You're going to have to do this little thing with your left mouse, hold it down, and draw your box to select everything. If that doesn't work, go back to design, right click, select all, then go to send. Now this is where we're going to have to do some settings. So we're going to have to choose our material, which is cardstock, not cardstock. Sticker paper white, or if you have presets that you've already saved, you can use those. I have one that I called Red Kiss Cut Line. So this is my Kiss Cut setting that I like to use personally for my machine. And then you're going to have to click on Cut Edge. Now you see everything has a red outline, and it's going to cut around the edge of it. You can also use just regular cut, and it's going to cut out the lines, so either one of those are going to work for you, cut or cut edge. And then you can adjust your stuff before you send. So that's how you set your cut lines, how you crop. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me and ask. If there's something else that you would like to see, you can just let me know. I hope that you find this little tutorial useful, and I have several more planned. The next one up definitely will be the tips and tricks. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I appreciate you all. Make sure you give a little thumbs up if you found this useful, and leave us a comment. Bye now.